They are just very responsive, nurturing, caring, understanding, and they're on the parent's side. They want to see the best from the kids.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
So my son is on the autistic spectrum. He has mild ASD, and he has high functioning autism, high functioning Asperger's, and ADHD. And what we were finding was that the class that he was in, it was rather large for his learning. So we started to do a Google search on schools that were small class size, but also were very targeted with special needs. So that looked like maybe 5 or 6 schools that looked interesting. And then I was having some conversations with some friends. And a girlfriend of mine, one of my best friends, had told me through her colleague that there was a school that her kids were going to, junior academy. And, I should also kind of consider them. So what I did was I kind of shortlisted maybe 3 schools. And I went to see all 3. And the third one that stood out to me was junior academy. So, and there was a lot of things that really lined up. My son's OT, who he was working with at Red Oak Clinic, was actually a teacher there. So, like, one thing that we loved was the fact that he could just start school and he knew the teacher. So things were just coming into an alignment. I had such a wonderful feeling when we visited the school, when we did the tour with the principal, Paul, and we really loved the staff, the administration. And just when we did the tour, we had specific questions, and we felt really comfortable that this would be a place that he would thrive in. I would say he responded very well. Immediately on his first day of school, he had students coming up to him and introducing themselves and saying hi to him. So right from the very beginning, it was inclusive. I had parents coming up to me saying, "You are going to love this school. I'm so glad you are here." And again, just that very welcoming feeling that was not just the administration and the teachers, but it was also families. It felt like it felt like a really great place to be. And after his first day of school, he said, "I love my school, mommy." And I don't think he's ever said anything like that before in our lives. So he said, "I love school." And that was the first time I had ever heard that. So right away, we all felt that, they really do take their time to make sure the kids feel included, are seen and heard, and just, feel like they're welcomed into their learning environment, and that it's not a scary place. It's a place of nurturing. He loves not being yelled at, because in a large class size, and it's not necessarily the fault of the teachers, it's just that when you have so many kids and they all have different needs, that I think there's a lot of pressure and stresses that people just can't be more mindful about certain behaviors of theirs. And I mean, in that pressure cooker environment, people yell. And I think in a smaller size classroom, there's just more mindfulness generally and more ability to get to the kids to give them individualized supports and modifications for their learning. I believe, there's a few things, but confidence, and that all comes into feeling that they are learning, that they feel like they are gaining more, abilities, and just becoming more confident in how they're learning and going forward. So I think number one is like, I have a more confident child now, and that he is not afraid to maybe ask for help. He's not afraid to try new things. He's not afraid to put up his hand, because even if he gets the wrong answer, he's trying. And I think that really is very helpful. The environment really does help with kids in their confidence. I guess the fact that it looked like a regular high school, like it had pretty much everything. If you were to look at, a traditional TDSB school, you would see, a gym. You would see, you would just see like, different facilities, like maybe an art room, music room, and they had all of that. And it's just a very nice, beautiful space, clean. And those were highlights when we saw Junior Academy, was that it was light and airy. And that's another thing, just a lot of window light that I feel is really necessary in some schools. That the school he was at before was pretty dark and open concept, and he couldn't hear very well because he would hear the other classrooms and he would hear the other teachers in other classrooms. So just, having, real, doors, but still being light and airy with the windows and everything, that makes it feel good.
Yeah, you need sunlight.
Yeah, airflow, but also being able to close a door so that your kids can listen to the instructions in that classroom. Whereas before, there would be several classes on a floor, all open concept. It's not conducive for focus. Inclusivity. So no bullying. And that's something that we also really noticed, was that the kids help each other. Brody does well with sciences. And when I talked to his teacher, he was leading a lot of those classes. So just this nurturing, helping each other environment. He would bring in certain projects of his, and he would, let kids learn about it. He would instruct and teach, and it was very much like just a team environment. So that was another thing that really stood out to us, that it's collegial. Well, I would say that families come from across the GTA because of their unique approach and how nurturing they are, and their understanding that there's, diversity with just, differences and neurodiversity. And I guess the one thing is that we all have an understanding that kids learn, differently, and that's okay. And families are very supportive. very supportive, and they're supportive of, the differences in how children learn. So I guess there's that similarity, is that we all understand, and it's a very supportive and safe environment. Well, I'm going to say that I think the biggest leap he's had is in language arts, because he has dysgraphia, which is a handwriting issue where he can't quite form like sentences or words fluidly while he's writing. So this is the other thing, is that they really did step up some of the tech, and he's, although better at writing, he's now typing. But when he was at his last school, he was only able to do it with 2 fingers. But now he's actually doing it with all his hands in the proper place. And he just completed a 1,500-word essay where he had to do paragraphs, and he had to really organize his thoughts for this assignment. This he would not have been able to do, I believe, if he stayed in the traditional classroom. It would have been very difficult, but he was able to do this. He would take breaks throughout, the process, but he completed it. And we are just so happy, because for me, this is a huge, huge development. Whereas he would only likely do maybe a few sentences last year, now he's actually creating like an essay, and he is confident, and he's typing, and I don't need to be there to help him all the time. He's actually generating all of this, information, and he's putting it on paper, and that's a huge step for him. They are just very responsive, nurturing, caring, understanding, and they're on the parent side. They want to see the best from the kids, and they are in there to help when something is not going well. They're in there to make some suggestions, and they work with the kids. No yelling. It's really a very, like I said, nurturing and supportive environment, and they're going to find the right modifications that work with that child. Oh, okay. I would say, and it just really depends on, I think it really depends on their needs. So I would say, if you're looking for modifications to learning, this is one of the best places to come. I can't compare to other places really, but for us, if you're looking for more support in terms of behaviors, this is another good reason to come here. And if you're looking for a place that is supportive and nurturing, and a small size classroom, again, this is another reason to attend junior academy. But I think it depends on really the needs of each person. So I would say though, those were the big reasons we came to junior academy, was the support, the nurturing environment, and modifications to learning. Well, I would say it's important for them to go and visit each school, and to really kind of look at what each school is known for, and what the needs are of their child, and match it with what the school can provide. And so that's really what we were looking for, was to see if the match would be good. And we feel like we did it. You know, it was everything that we were looking for, but to really have your questions written down so that when you go into each tour or meeting, you know, you ask them, you know, what supports they have, what modifications, what kind of tools they have. Do they have occupational therapists there, behavioral therapists? But these are all just, you know, you want to know what's available for them during their school day.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.